Welcome to Never Too Serious with Scott and Dave. I'm Scott.
And I'm Dave.
Are you pessimistic today, Dave?
Oh, man. Today, yesterday, day before, and 17 weeks prior. Oh, my gosh.
Well, this is our New Year's kind of show, right?
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of pessimistic about 2022. Are you on the same line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have had a rough year. And, shame on me for not. There's good things that happened this year. I can't say. No, I can't say. I can't remember one. But I know that there are, right? But it's hard to put my thumb on this one. If I had, give me one word, Dave. What would you say this year is? Man, I couldn't. I can't.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same way. I kind of look back at this year and I go, well, what has happened? Because it's been much of a blur. It's, we're coming out of COVID. And so there have been some shifts in like public health and life sort of going back to what we consider normal, but it's certainly not normal yet. And I don't feel like there's any major highlights. Now I got a few things that I go, oh yeah, okay, that was probably a good thing. But I got some negativity about 2022.
It's been a rough 2020. It's been a rough year. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of some personal, family issues and stress at work. One of the things that you just mentioned is that we're coming out of COVID or have been out of the COVID situation for a little bit, and it doesn't feel like it's been back to normal. But what it does feel like is, crap, this is where it's going to stay.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of people are depressed about it because you still have these little centers of COVID bubbles that you have to, you think it's over, you go into the doctor or a veterinarian clinic and you're like, oh, it's still COVID to these guys. All right, you still have to mask up and do this and do that, stay out in your car or to wait your turn. I'm like, oh my goodness,
Mm-hmm.
You got everybody just leaves and mingles right now. We could all go and hang out and party, like do a mosh pit, with 15,000 people, and all go to the hospital and hang out, and then then follow all these rules,
Yeah.
So, anyways, all these things that are going on, then it just isn't feeling right, which is adding to, I think, every other problem that we're having.
So one of the things that happened to both of us is that we both got COVID this year.
Yeah, we did.
And it wasn't, to me, in my opinion, maybe your opinion is different, but in my opinion, it wasn't that bad.
No.
And to think about all of the stress and all of the lockdowns and all the stuff that happened during, 2020, 2021, when I finally got COVID, and keep in mind, I had been vaxxed, I don't know, it was like a year or something prior, year and a half prior or something like that. And when I got COVID, everyone was bugging me that I should have already had like my second booster and that it was going to be this really bad thing. And then when I got it, it wasn't bad at all. I mean, I was mowing my lawn the same day that I had the worst of it.
Really, yeah.
And, and I guess I'm coming to the realization that so much of the fear and so much of the stuff is just for naught.
Right.
And so that is kind of a highlight for me, is that finding out that, you know what, it wasn't so bad. I don't have as much fear over.
But maybe it's because you had all those shots.
Yeah, well, I had one, and then I come to find out, I hear, because in hindsight, we're looking back at how these things have, and there's some medical concerns about those shots, and so I still have those concerns because yes, I was one of those that got the shot, and then I got COVID on top of it, and I feel like, well, how do they even know how effective any of that stuff was? Because once I actually got it, it wasn't so bad.
Well, here's this though too. Because like you said, I got it too, and mine was kind of like yours. It wasn't. I mean, I felt it. Don't get me wrong, but in fact, it was a few weeks ago. I got sick, and I didn't feel good at all, and I think I felt it worse than COVID. And I went. Because I was around a lot of people and I was nervous, and because I felt funny, and I went home and I have tons of COVID tests, sitting there. So I'm like, I got to make sure. There's a lot of people. If I do have COVID, I got to let them know. Thank goodness I didn't. You have double check. Yeah. And but I was sicker, and it wasn't COVID, people. I mean, yes, other people got it, but there's some other underlying issues what maybe make it made it worse too for them. But
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't get the shot,
Mm-hmm.
and you did, and it sounds like we had something close to the same experience. You know, it was average. It wasn't. I mean, I was uncomfortable here and there, but
Think about the other aspect though, is that our families also got it.
yeah.
And how did they turn out?
And my wife seemed about the same as me too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a portly fella.
Portly.
So, and you're a fit gentleman too. So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know, there's differences, you know.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. So my dad also not vaccinated, got COVID twice. He's definitely not in the same boat as we are with his health. My grandma also, who's I want to say she's like 90-ish. I don't even know. Got it. Her and her husband survived just fine. So it was just, to me, 2022 was a kind of a realization of, hey, the fears really were somewhat unwarranted, at least to the extreme nature that people were pushing it.
Right.
And so that's a positive thing, in my opinion, that there's some discovery in our own personal experiences that made at least my outlook on COVID and, you know, how society handles it a little bit more positive.
Right.
Here's the other thing, and that is all of the stuff that's now coming out, because now there's time for people to really analyze the data and look at some of this stuff. And now,
What do we mean by stuff?
meaning like there's more information about people who have been vaxxed and
See,
some of the side effects.
So you've been looking that up?
Yes,
Go ahead.
but wait, there's more. And then the other is the number of people who have gotten COVID multiple times and their experience of it, and different age groups and health situations. There's a lot more that's coming out now, and I think Fauci, you know, retiring, and
Smart move.
and he's kind of getting, well, I mean, he's been kind of grilled by, you know, Rand Paul and others. And
Elon's after him now.
And Elon. And here's the thing, is that now there's much more openness about talking about it.
Right.
YouTube is still going to flag this episode just because we had mentioned COVID, but we're not getting censored like what was happening in 2020 and 2021.
Right.
So again, another positive for, at least for me, it looks like a positive and not a big negative, because we're realizing how bad things were and how unwarranted a lot of the actions were.
Right. You know, and I know there were some people that really got sick. You know,
Sure.
My father-in-law got really ill, but he had some other issues that was going on with him. But it was really scary for him. But you know, I always read a bunch of things too, and it's scary about that. And you know, some people are some of the people that haven't gotten the vaccination has been kind of I don't know if they're being warranted or if it's true or they're just trying to freak people out, but you know, saying that people are, because there are a lot of odd, really healthy people out there dying.
Yeah, athletes.
That isn't making sense. And I don't know if that is, I haven't had time to really dig in to see if that's a factual thing. And in fact, were they vaccinated, and really, does that have anything really to do with it? How will I ever really know? But, you know, I look at those things, and I know I have a lot of loved ones, Scott, that have taken the vaccination, and I worry about that. And I've never even brought it up, you know, because it's like, I don't want to say, are you worried about that?
Yeah. So I recall having conversations with you about getting vaccinated. I had a lot of pressure from work. It turned out that, you know, the state of Oregon was going to, well, they had already mandated that public employees would have to get vaccinated or you lose your job.
I thought I might lose my job.
Yeah. And so I felt a lot of pressure. Now,
Sure you did.
Now, if I had some medical condition or issue that I could tie to the shot, I would be suing them like crazy. But I don't know as of right now, other than, this is funny, my wife, she was using as a excuse for me teasing her about forgetting something. And she's like, it's got to be COVID fog. And the thing is I kind of agree. Like I think I have more of a mental fog for this last, several years. And I don't know if it's because I had COVID or because of something else, or it's because of, the nature of how I live my life. But people report on a COVID fog. And of course, I can't tie that to anything directly. Have you had a COVID fog?
So COVID fog or vaccine
fog?
Fog.
Just fog. We're not even sure what you could totally tie it to, but have you noticed a mental fog?
I have, and I don't know how long I've had it. I feel like I've had it for a long time. So do I tie it to COVID, or do I tie it because I'm stressed out? I don't even know.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, me too.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so a while back, this was the beginning of November. I had talked to you about, I think I'm gonna try and do like a sober November and go completely all of November without having any like beer.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
And I made it, I want to say a couple of weeks before it was the like Thanksgiving break time-ish.
Oh.
And
that's a rough one to get through.
And I told you at the time, and this was like the big motivation was, I just want to see what it's like to go that long without having any beer, because I like my beer. To see what kind of mental clarity might follow, what energy level might follow, because there are physiological things that happen depending on what things you're eating, your sleep patterns, all this stuff. And I just want to experiment with it. And I certainly think that I had better clarity during that time than previous to that, and even as of late, as I'm going to drink some of my beer right now.
You thought it,
so
I don't really need that.
Yeah. So again,
balance out the fog.
It's not very scientific for me to do it, but I felt like during that time I was eating better, I was exercising consistently, and I didn't have any alcohol of any kind.
Well, that's because what you need to do is take it to the level is get drunk. And then go out and dude, I feel like exercising real hard today. See, you need to incorporate it so you just drink more beer on the days you exercise.
Yeah. I think if I did like the extremes of both, I'd probably have some other underlying health condition after that point.
Pish posh. That's not important.
Yeah.
I noticed that I run a lot more when I'm drinking. I'm getting a little bit drunk. And
you run more?
In Call of Duty. I mean, it's
when you're on the couch.
Well, yeah.
That's funny, Dave. That's funny.
Yep. But I'm way more active.
Yeah, your eyeballs are moving a lot. Those thumbs are moving.
I think so.
Yeah. No, so anyway, with that being said, it's like more information is going to come out as time goes on, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the CDC and the NIH handle the added pressure, because those institutions are starting to restructure some stuff as well. And I heard rumor of the CDC restructuring and getting some pressure from government, and then we're still trying to figure out the real true source of COVID, if it is a Wuhan lab thing. And which is my leading. That's what I believe it is, but I'm not a scientist. I'm willing to be open-minded.
My only question is was it on purpose? That's my only question.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. I guess.
I mean, how about this? Everything in that lab is on purpose. It's just. Whoa, did it accidentally escape on purpose?
Yeah.
Or was it an accident?
Yeah.
We all know it was an accident. You don't need to flag us twice, everything's an accident.
Yeah.
That's why they're not going on lockdowns over there.
So more sort of revelations. And this is we did a podcast on the Hunter Biden laptop.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that came up, as there's much more proof of the other mainstream media news organizations are confirming its legitimacy.
It's crazy, even like a little loser like myself knew the legitimacy of it, knew that there's some value. How about this? All I really knew was this is something that somebody needs to investigate.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that's all I really knew. And they wouldn't. And that was like, are you kidding me? Are you? I just wouldn't imagine if it was anybody else in office, of not even the president, but in office that would have that, and the other side would have that information, it would just destroy them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it hasn't. Now,
I wonder why, like Twitter and stuff.
Well, so I was just going to mention. So you're not like a big, I do most of our social media stuff, and so you're not a big Twitter person, but Elon Musk, since he's now purchased, the deal has finally gone through, and he's running Twitter. He's now released a whole bunch of insider information from employees at Twitter on how they censored, how they blocked, how a lot of the pressure was put on Twitter by political figures, even folks
behind
at the
the scenes conversations to say, no, okay, we won't do that. We'll take that down. Sure, we'll stop that right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And here's the unfortunate thing. I could be wrong, but it appears this way to me, that the left doesn't seem to be upset about that, and they should be insanely upset about that.
I think they're
upset that we're stopping that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry.
You want to take a quick break and check out our heater?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Dave and I appreciate you listening to the show. Please take a moment and write a review on Apple Podcast or podchaser.com. And since Spotify doesn't currently have reviews, simply telling your friends about the show would be great too. Also, you can always reach out to us at our website, nevertooserious.com, or via our socials at the NTS Podcast. And seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, thanks again for listening to the show. All right, so we're back,
and we are
getting the heat back on in the studio.
Yep,
here.
Have to have it.
Dave's nipples are sensitive.
Can you see them? Damn it! Put tape on.
Poke my eye out. Okay, so we're talking a little bit about Hunter Biden stuff and how Elon purchased Twitter, and so he released a massive document dump, and there's a whole lot of conspiracy going on. I mean, they were talking about how Trump's account was removed, right? How it was, banned.
Mm-hmm.
For a sitting president to be banned is a pretty massive thing. And turns out that even figures like Michelle Obama had direct contact with Twitter employees, pressuring them to remove his, to ban him. That's a significant revelation. It's significant. And here's the other piece. And this is where I'm like, okay, so now that all these things have come to light, nothing can be done because really Twitter's under new ownership. So if you wanted to punish Twitter for what they did several years ago, what are you going to do now? Because it's no longer owned by the same.
It would have to be criminal actions. That's
to individuals.
Individuals, yeah.
Yeah, I think that the other side would be if there's government agencies who are directly linked and involved with free speech suppression. That would be the only other side, is instead of going Twitter side, going to the people who were forcing Twitter into that.
That's huge. Absolutely. That's the individuals. They need to be held responsible.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, is you would think that this would frighten, and because there's a lot of people ticked off that there's truth is getting spilled out there, that people are releasing this stuff.
Yeah.
And why not be upset why didn't you tell us this when we deserve to know that? Why aren't they angry about it? Who cares if it's stuff that you want to be true? I'd rather know the truth about it, and they should be livid that they've been played, not sit there and been played so much that they're going, I'm going to back it up. Yeah. No, you've been played. Come on. You know how many people have sit there and said this is a bunch of crap, the Hunter Biden thing's a hoax, another Russian, misinformation or something like that. Yeah. It's insulting.
Yeah.
How does it make them feel? I'm sorry, but, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but, how often do you have to be proven wrong before you can at least sit there and, you don't have to say you're sorry, but shut up now.
Yeah. And
it's frustrating.
And the I told you so only has a certain amount of sting.
Right.
It's so short-lived.
And it's just frustrating that a natural reaction, it's not even warranted by that. They won't even give it a natural reaction of, upset, the sense of betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
They just send it to somebody else when they happen to just thought the whole time, instead of sending it to the direction that they, I don't know, is that brainwash? I mean, I don't know what the heck it is.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just frustrating, because we do try to talk with our both sides, and it just becomes an argument, and nobody, both sides for that matter, doesn't seem to want to listen.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because you're never going to grow. You're going to be stuck in the same rut unless you freaking, there's stuff to learn on both sides.
Yeah.
That's hard to say, just so you know.
I hope that 2023 is better in this particular regard. I think Elon Musk is doing, I think, a pretty good job with really showing people that he does care about free speech, and he does care about,
and that's upsetting a lot of people.
Yeah, about his new company. So yeah, I'm optimistic about it. I want to shift over to some other science stuff. This year, or 2022, NASA crashed this little. It's like a small planetary defense system. Launched it and crashed it into an asteroid. Do you remember that story?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah. That's an interesting feat, considering you have to...
They're good at crashing stuff.
The mathematics has to be so precise to be able to do that, because it's not like they're steering it like we do our drones or our cars. Like, you have to predict into the future where things are going to be at an exact moment. I
mean, not to dumb it down, but like a quarterback, and you have your receiver, you're not just typically just throwing in a pass. You're talking about a moving object coming from a moving object that's also spinning and moving down somewhere, somewhere.
That's influenced by other things, and
then launch this bitch across the universe to make this happen. Yeah, that's quite a feat, all right.
Yeah, it's quite the feat. I'll just read real quick. So this was in November. NASA launched its prototype of a very sci-fi sounding planetary defense system. The DART mission sent a probe to crash into an asteroid. I think the asteroid's name is Dimorphos.
It's not going to be ticked if you got it wrong.
Yeah, I don't care. But they crashed it into this asteroid to change the rock's course around a larger asteroid. So they deflected one asteroid away from another. That's an incredible thing. And this story doesn't tell me like how far away all this happened, but we're talking really far away.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if they really did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Was the moon
the only thing why I believe it is that it said crash.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I'm curious, and I'm sure they have all the data out there, but because I didn't get to dive into this either, because I was pretty, intrigued by it, that if it's moving, did it really move it? I'm just saying this thing is moving one way, essentially toward us ish.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't know.
Sure
I don't think this is one like in line of being a problem for Earth.
No, not for Earth. Yeah.
But still, I'm sure it's not moving away from us. But it's moving, and there we're seeing something moving, and I'm guessing it's because I don't know the size. It's something that we sent. Is this thing like a bullet to a basketball? And at the velocities, is it just going to just keep going, not even move a millimeter? It's just, to me, I'm just wondering, how much did it explode? Was it just crashed? How heavy was it? What was the velocity? Because how can you stop it? Like a train, how long it takes to stop a train. I don't care what the hell you put in front of it.
Really.
So like how much?
Yeah, really, it's just a matter of pushing it a little bit.
I know, but
because ultimately that one little nudge, over a massive distance makes a lot of.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at is I'm curious to know what their capabilities are, and for what size, and so. That way, when they say this one is the one that's coming, and then I'll know, oh, we're doomed, or I'll know, okay, we got to fight. I want to know, just so I can have like a.
I look at it from Yeah, I look at it from the perspective of it's cool that we've got the technology to be able to predict, like send something, an object, and go run into another object. The ability just to do that is significant because then you might change the method of what happens at impact, but just making that connection is a pretty incredible thing.
Missile Command and Atari.
Yeah, they were saying cost is $308 million. The weight was just over 1,300 pounds. Yeah, and I mean, and it's a relatively
Was it a
small,
nuke or something, or did it just literally? I'm just wondering what the force is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because some things won't change if it's too small of a force, you know.
Yeah, the box dimensions are actually really small. It's like four and a half feet by 4.5 feet approximately. Small.
What was?
Object.
Oh,
yeah, this little object
that
they launched out there.
Oh,
yeah.
Because I just thinking, example might not be a good one, but my car is the size, if that's the size, and I have velocity going down the road,
mm-hmm.
and if I get hit by a rock, it's going to jack my windshield up. But man, it didn't even slow me down trajectory. I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. What are they? They had to have explosives, right?
No. So it says. Let's see.
They just rammed it.
Yeah. The DART, something of a test run for potential planetary saving maneuver is what they're talking about. Over the next year, the probe will power up its ion thrusters. So this is an older story. The violent rendezvous is scheduled to occur September 2022, around 15,000 miles per hour. Yeah, they said like going from New York to Los Angeles in a blink of an eye. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah. It's not a huge object, but again, just to be able to predict that it's happening.
Yep, it's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, and that's like one of the things. Like we've seen impacts of. If you look on YouTube, you can find footage of impacts from. I mean, I guess they're asteroids. They're small, but they make huge explosions when they hit. Big flashes coming through the atmosphere,
mm-hmm.
and you can see dash cam footage. I think there's some in Russia that I've seen.
Some real good ones in Russia. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, so you can kind of see we've had a history of these types of impacts, and of course, that's what they say that killed the dinosaurs was a massive impact.
It was drugs.
It
was drugs.
Let's see. Yeah, really cool. I really like this stuff. The other was that NASA launched it's like a test for their new lunar lander.
Mm-hmm.
And they shot it around the moon, and it came back. And I want to say December, I think, is when it came back in to our atmosphere, landed in the ocean, and they now have it like on display.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like its charred remains. Like it was really lit up, but it came back just fine. So they're going to be sending some humans at some point to land on the moon again.
So I think they took pictures. Did you see any pictures?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty cool pictures.
Yeah, pretty charred up remains. So are you talking about pictures of the moon as it passed? Yeah. I'll look those up and post them here. Neat scientific stuff going on.
And it's hard to tell when you're, a lot of us have our nose to the grindstone, working, taking care of the kids,
mm-hmm.
getting figuring out how to buy food because it's so outrageous, gas is still outrageous, and we're so busy trying to make it happen that we don't even know what else is going on. And everybody else is spending billions of dollars, and we're like, where's our cut? Where do you get all the billions, and we're freaking...
Well, so that's the other thing that happened this year was there was a massive increase in, in inflation.
Yeah.
The costs of just about all goods, ridiculous.
If you could find, you have to go without some.
Mm-hmm.
You won't know what you're going to go into the store and what you're going to be lacking. But yeah, it's kind of strange out there.
Mm-hmm. Gas prices hit an all-time high.
We had
in some places over $6 a
Yep,
we
had it $6. It's still up 4 or 5 something around here.
Yeah.
You know, you might be able to get it at Costco with some coupons and, for under 4, I think.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I did see regular for, it was like $3.90 something or other. And it was one of those, cheap gasoline places.
Yeah, the guy's out there with a parking cone upside down and he's pouring water in the tank.
Yeah, people may not know, Oregon, we are required by law to have a gas station attendant. Most places, you're not going to see that guy.
Yep.
Here, we get to see the guy who's, I don't want to insult all the gas station attendants out there.
I got some good ones. There's some places I go, and there's some good guys, good people, I should say. Not all guys.
Yeah.
But
we had midterm elections this year.
Yeah.
That was
interesting.
We
had some people that didn't quite make it, but they did a recount, and then they made it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the claims of voter suppression in Georgia, which turned out to be record-breaking turnout. So if you got suppression and you got record-breaking turnout,
well,
you wonder if that's a true statement.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, but maybe a little disappointing for me. I had a lot more optimism considering all the struggles that we've had from government intrusion and lockdowns and all of that. I was hopeful that we would have a change over, just to have even new blood in the system from different parties. Okay, so I just kind of putting a little tension on our podcast over the last year. I've got our episode list here. We produced quite a few podcasts. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to blow this up because my eyes aren't very good.
Oh, blow it up. I thought it meant something cool.
Yeah, so we've had quite a few episodes this year, and some that were more popular than others. And I was kind of curious if you had any favorites that you can think of. That was one right there.
I know. I like the law ones because we get a lot of laughter out of it. I like a lot of those. Frankly, the ones that I get all pissy about, that's not so. I like doing them, but that's not quite as fun as just
the
being
stupid
silly
laws,
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's right. Even cheating, that was even a decent one too, if I could say.
Yeah, cheating in sports.
Yep.
Yeah, happened a lot of different places. Some of the Simpsons predictions, I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
because the Simpsons did. They
did.
predicted a fair amount of stuff with some questionable accuracy, but at least what they had mentioned actually did come true.
I actually because I got to do the research, I was disappointed in the ones I really wanted to be real. And so, I was in my office this week and somebody's sitting there playing it and he's like, "Oh man, these are crazy. Have you seen these, Dave?" He's like, "Yep. That one isn't real though." I mean, that was that was not that one there isn't the actually happened afterwards, like, I'm like, I know. But the rest of them are pretty good. That's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. Another episode was the Utopia of Neom. Neom is the Lion City, Saudi Arabia. It's interesting because they're actually breaking ground. If you look on the Google satellites, and I think that their website is actually producing pictures, photos, they're actually excavating the, I don't know, you call it soil in the desert?
Sure.
Yeah, Earth. Even though it may be mostly sand, I don't know. But it's massive. It's huge. Those huge dump trucks that pull.
The big cool ones, the mining dump trucks.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, they've got some of those out there moving.
Man, I got to tell you, it would be interesting to see how something like that could stay afloat. I don't know how it can.
Well, I mean, the cost of it's up.
I do know how it can. And that means I'm going to be working for free, because there's going to be a lot of people working for their lifestyle. I don't know how. I mean, I guess we're already doing that, aren't we?
Well, I mean, if certain things are catered to you, then maybe you work for free. But there's other side benefits.
No, but hey, more power to whoever.
Yeah. Another one I enjoyed was DB Cooper.
Yep.
That was very.
It was nice. We got to go meet him and see how he was doing. Had a nice interview with him. Everybody should go check it out.
Yep. He didn't have any money left. But.
No, or a pulse, but still. Good to go talk to him.
It's so funny. Yeah. I really like the story of DB Cooper, especially because it's still, unsolved. But there's some interesting characters in there that claim to have been DB Cooper.
Well, what about we always the fun parts are talking about our pronouns and sexual harassment. And that's always a good time.
So, I as I was looking through some of the analytics of some of our shows. Turns out that one of the shows that we did that was on it's a category. Is it a category or a label called MAPS, the minor attracted, people.
Yep.
Basically pedophiles, and turns out that show was actually a pretty big hit. Like, a lot of people were listening to that, and which is interesting because that has been sort of in the news. There's been a lot of talk about
there's been
child
some
grooming
movement, I think, in their behalf.
Well, I think there's a big fight going on still because of the the library drag shows, the storytime drag shows. There's a lot of video out now showing men dressed as women wearing very, if it were on a woman, I would say sexy.
Lingerie and swimming suits stuff.
And kids,
showing off.
Kids putting dollar bills in their G-strings.
And even if it wasn't a transvestite, I don't want him to do it to a woman.
Yeah, it's.
I don't want him to do it to anybody. I don't want him teaching to tip them like they're strippers.
Yeah.
I don't even want them to know their strippers exist.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. So there's one side is really starting to become way more mainstream. Like more and more people are kind of defending them, and then there's the pushback on the other side, and there's more and more people now pushing back on that side. And so I'm seeing way more friction in this particular category.
Hey, you leave him alone.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, and when we were doing the show, we were kind of describing. In particular, this one person who came on and was talking about it being okay to be attracted to minors, and at the time it wasn't as big of a news thing as it is today.
Yeah.
And I never would have expected that things would have gotten so far that direction.
Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's scary. I love my kids. I don't need them to be terrorized.
Yeah, so that was published in February, early February. Wow. And just, a year later now, just under a year later is actually a huge thing.
Yeah.
So
we fight it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kirk Cameron just stepped out against talking about the same thing, the transvestite stripping hour or something for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, or story hour. Sorry, I don't know.
Story
Sorry,
hour.
I said strip it.
Oh, well,
who cares? If they're giving them dollars, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, Dave. Are we gonna
I'm
go
just
down
trying to
a road here?
I'm just asking. Why do the parents want to take their kids to go see that? What's in what? If here, if we were together and we had our kid, and we would say, "Hey, here's a good idea," right? I'm just curious if the conversation is one. There's two. And I'm not saying there's two parents, but if there's two parents, is one of them going to say no?
Okay, so on that
story time's good, but who's telling story? It makes a difference.
So on that particular topic, so there's. I don't know if this is a national thing. I know it is in Oregon, but there are these things called mandatory reporters. Public employees and a lot of other companies become mandatory reporters as soon as they're hired into those positions, which means if you see or have any knowledge of abuse, you are required by law to report it.
Yep.
And I wonder sometimes where the line is, what my responsibility is to report on things. Because I would imagine if I were at an event and a drag show came in and they were taking off their clothes, getting into the lingerie, and there were kids watching, dancing, and putting dollar bills in their G-strings, that to me, I seem like that would cross a line. But in the state of Oregon, keeping, Oregon weird, more than just Portland weird. I wonder if Oregon would even look at that as crossing the line. I don't know. Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on this.
I don't either.
It's not a funny topic. Okay.
I know.
This one was kind of funny to me because you brought this topic to me, and this is the historical giants. Are they real or are they fake?
I'm back.
Have you changed your mind?
Oh, I don't want to give anything away for the people who haven't seen it, but I have. I'm back to thinking I know they're real.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know. It's funny because I'm still sitting there watching somebody else putting out a show about they found skeletons of cavemen in the Grand Canyon. Like, no, I didn't. No, I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't. Nope. No giants down there.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I thought this was a funny show just because when we decided to do the show, we had really decided, we're going to do some research on this thing. We're going to bring in some clips. We're going to bring in pictures.
Video footage.
Yeah.
Video footage.
Yeah. And it was just so, to see the look on your face.
I was so disappointed. I wanted to see something cool. I mean, I want to see some crazy stuff. I want to see the dinosaur or Bigfoot. I want to see Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I want it to be real. I want to see. I mean, I don't believe it's real, but I want it to be. I was hoping we could find something cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yeah.
Basic.
Yeah.
No, we are amazing. We are the amazing enough as it is, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's good to want something to be, just because if it were really true, there might be some other significant things that might come out of it. But that did crack me up. You guys listening, you got to go check that. It's episode number 70, because I do think it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, more stuff I thought was kind of fun was the social dilemma. We talked about how social media and those companies kind of manipulate our population.
Yeah.
With Elon Musk now in charge of Twitter, he's a lot more transparent about what the algorithm does, what he's programming, what his programmers are going to do to
now you don't have to
stuff.
Guess.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Yep.
It does happen.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not the only place that does it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, Facebook and others. And so some of the new companies like True Social, that's Trump's social networking company. Parler is back in. Gettr, also a new one, which we're on, by the way, at the NTS podcast. But they are also social media companies, and I can tell that there's a certain amount of influence in the type of people who are on those networks already. More conservative because it's an alternative to what Twitter was not too long ago. But as far as the motivation, they were saying, if the product is free, turns out you are the product. And I believe Truth Social is free, Gettr and Parler are also free. So it makes you think they're gathering a bunch of data about you. For what reasons? Maybe only advertising. I don't know.
Money.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Or the new currency information.
Yeah.
That's what it really is. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on 2022?
Nope.
No. Yeah. Flush it. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about 2023.
Yeah.
What are your optimistic hopes for 2023?
Man, you know what I'd really like to do for 2023? This is my hope. I would like to. I know it's going to be impossible to make it happen, but I would love, I don't know, to get a couple of my good friends and family to go to, I don't know, Hawaii or something with me. Can we do that? I don't know, in June sometime. Can we make that happen?
Yeah, I'll pick up a 5th job. Sure, we can make that happen.
Going to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's a good one, Dave.
Yeah, I think that'll be definitely needed. I know that's one thing I did tell myself in 2022 that 2023 and on, I need to go to vacations and do stuff. So I just follow my wife's bucket list, I think.
Well, your wife does. She gets out and does more traveling.
Oh, she goes everywhere and wants to go everywhere.
Yeah.
There is a couple places I want to go after Hawaii, but then after that, we'll just...
Okay, so is this going to be a new Dave that is a little bit more adventurous to get out of the house and go do stuff?
It's still 100% hard for me, difficult. I don't like going places and taking the the travel chaos to get to our locations. But yeah, I'm going to go to maybe in other countries too. I want to go to Bora Bora.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
We were looking at some really cool places.
Like all-inclusive type places?
Yeah, like, yes.
Okay, so you don't have to deal with the logistics?
Mostly, yeah. And how about this? I don't want to go. I don't want to go cheap. You know.
Okay.
I want to go have a good time. I mean, I'm going to be frugal, but I'm not going to go cheap. And I want to make my money go the furthest and have a good time. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I just need to go do more stuff, and which means I can pull my daughter along with her and have her give her a lot more experiences in life. So,
what about your creative side? You've talked about building some stuff.
Man alive! So, I always wanted to learn how to weld. So there's this door that I have to build. I bought everything to weld. I don't know how to weld. I never welded. Well, I welded in high school, right? And I did all right, but that was 30 years ago. So, and then I have a gate, a massive, huge front entrance gate, and I'm going to weld it. I'm going to make it. I don't know how to weld, but I'm going to do it. I have all the material for it.
So you're going to learn this year.
Yeah.
2023 is the year that you learn how to weld.
Well, yeah, I have to because I'm going to make that shit in 2023. So I guess so. And I don't feel like I'm not going to learn it. It's so weird. So, but in that aspect, I wanted to make some cool devices, like not a device, but mobiles or, they have, I wanted to make a little off-road but I want to make it out of, with electric motors.
Yeah.
So you could haul butt across the fields and stuff out here. And, but they have these little tricycles, like big wheels that you can make with electric. Oh my goodness. I want to make those. I want to make some type of, I don't know, driving mobile
some sort of vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, like you've seen those really cool, we have a Portland International Raceway down there and they have go-karts, but these go-karts can go 120 miles an hour.
Oh yeah. Those are scary.
I can make that. I've never done it. I don't know how to weld. I don't know how to bend steel, but I'm telling you, I can make it.
But you have a lot of the equipment to do that, so you got to take the time to learn. And practice probably. I'd want for you to practice that before putting it together and me driving it.
Well, see, that's not how it's going to work. So, no. Well, to be honest with you, so that's my plan. Really, truly is that I have to build a door, and then after that, I'm going to use the door to learn how to do something.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm going to build my gate.
Yeah.
And that gate's going to take a lot of precision. And then after that, I'm going to start having fun with it.
So I was thinking about this not too long ago because I know you've got your welding stuff and you need to practice. I was thinking, and I don't even know what the cost of supplies are, but I really enjoy disc golfing. And I think it would be fun to do some basic welding and build some disc golf baskets.
Yeah.
And this was the year I bought some property way out in the middle of nowhere, and it's big enough for me to put some disc golf baskets out. I thought, you know what? It wouldn't be bad to have some of those fall apart. At least I'm not driving them. So maybe putting together, maybe designing something that actually meets the specs or whatever. And because I want to learn how to weld too.
How I usually am is, if I have a project I have to do. Example, I learned how to do tiling. Well, I'm going to be tiling a bunch of crap now, right? So I already have, for my wife's birdhouses, I have a plan to be already welding a bunch of that stuff. I have roof racks, all designed that can hold. It's a mess.
You got all kinds of stuff going.
Tons of stuff ready to do.
Have you looked at the cost of materials? Is it expensive? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of why I have he's an old dude. I have my metals guy.
Yeah.
But I go to his house and I get some stuff, still spendy, but I bought a bunch of material for at least the gate and the door I was going to do a couple of years ago, my heavens. And I'm glad I did. Yeah. but I could get some decent deals-ish.
Yeah.
He does it pretty good by the foot, by the pound kind of thing, but it's better deal through him.
Yeah.
But he's old dude, and it's
Yeah.
like, I want you to hang out.
Yeah.
Don't go nowhere.
Yeah. So 2023, I think I want to come out of retirement and throw the javelin competitively at in the masters category.
You don't have time.
So I've been exercising pretty consistently. I would say maybe not this week as much.
I don't need you
gearing up for other things, but
I don't need you to be titled as an athlete after you've been vaccinated, Scott.
yeah, I have a heart attack in the middle of a throw.
I don't need you out there. It's crazy. I worry about that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get old. And so I need some reason to do exercises, right? So, and I'm out coaching a fair amount, and I'm throwing with the kids a little bit, and I'm doing different drills. But generally speaking, I would say in the last, really since 2020, when lockdowns took place and I started putting a little bit more effort into exercising, I feel pretty darn good when I'm out there throwing stuff.
Yeah, but can you compete with people with old asses like yourself?
Yeah.
They have that.
They have those categories, Dave.
You have to go up there, put the walker to the side, and then
yeah, all the wives are over there holding our
you're
gear.
You're just trying to wait them out so you can like go in there and just smoke them all.
Yeah, and then at the end of the competition, and maybe sometimes during the competition, they're cracking beers.
That's good. Smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing? I'm about to run the mile. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like there's opportunity to be competitive because there are categories for my age group, and I would be at the top of my age group. So I'd be competing against people who are younger than me, up to 4 years younger than me. So that might be a little bit harder competition than the last time that I competed, which is like, what is that, 7 or 8 years ago? and so at that time I was in pretty decent shape, and okay, to be honest, I think I'm in better strength shape and more technically sound.
Yeah, but you have the fog.
But I don't.
What are you going to do about the fog? You're screwed.
Listen, I just don't have to think about it. I just do. But cardio-wise, I'll have to do some major improvements there. Excuse me. My Achilles have been bothering me lately. Feeling pretty good, but that's limited to how much running I can do.
Just get a boot.
So my hope is that I can get back into it, and
if you want to do it,
for
I
my
know
age
you do
group.
it.
For my age group, I want to be able to compete at a high level for my age group. I'm not sure about going to Worlds again. That was a pretty cool opportunity. I injured myself at Worlds, so that was a little bitter. But at least in my age category, it'd be kind of nice.
Do they hold it the same place every time?
No, they move around a lot.
Well, let me know where the next place is.
Yeah.
They might convince you to go.
Yeah. Well, it could be a good vacation spot.
Yep.
Last time was in Perth, Australia.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. Yeah. At least the first half of the trip. Second half of the trip, I was injured and hobbling around.
Hate that.
Oh, that was bad.
I'd had that happen in Disneyland.
Yeah. Yeah. Other stuff, I think I'm trying to be more optimistic. I want to say that this year I've been more optimistic in general. I've had some struggles with some different stuff, stress levels and stuff, but I've been more optimistic, and I think 2023 is going to bring even more to that. If I can if I don't have any like major health issues or some tragic thing happens, I think most of that stuff I want to try and be positive this year.
Yeah, to be fair, I was trying to be optimistic this year, really, truly. I mean, I was so happy to break out of the COVID and just trying to, get back to real world. And I feel like, a plane going through a storm and he's just punching through all the clouds, just trying to get out. And I just feel like there's always just so many barriers just trying to get out, in my way of just trying to go live a good life. Yeah. I'm trying to, like water skiing, just get up above the water. Now everything's not violent,
yeah.
and So
Well,
that's what I really hope for this year. I mean, I feel like, man, I could maybe cut a lot of that mess and put it behind me ish, and have more family time. My daughter's, in a better school, and just try to do more things together. I mean, that's my real goal, is to just have more fun with friends and family. Just do more stuff. Have people over. Have gatherings. Just do things.
Yeah.
That's really, and I know we could do it. So I'm
Yeah.
optimistic.
Yeah.
Plus, knowing that I am going to Maui. Yeah. So I know there's something I'm shooting for.
Something is really on the books.
Yeah. So, yep. I'm not as negative. I'm just telling you that, looking backwards, it's like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Don't look backwards. Last year sucked. That is not pretty. There's some good things that got me through. I'll tell you that. But I am very, very looking forward to, and I'm not waiting for January 1 to change. I'm still optimistic.
You're not a New Year's resolution kind of guy. But
I'm a guy that makes plans and trying to shoot to get there. And my wife and I, we made our budget to get to, our, financial plans of, debt-free stuff, and our plans to be in, put things in place that, we could do to have a teenager want to be involved in, So try to make plans, that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But
I'm curious, on YouTube, in the comment section, I'm curious what other people are looking forward to in 2023, and then Spotify. I think I'll put one of those little polls up. So look on Spotify, and maybe
what are you willing to let go of in 2022 that you don't have to worry about in 2023?
Yeah, yeah. I think the other piece I'm kind of looking forward to. I'm going to get a little bit more creative with what I'm doing on my coaching channel on YouTube. Because I love doing this kind of stuff. I love the creativity. One of the things that's going to be coming up this next year is the 50th Brothers Campout. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, my dad and his 3 brothers started camping 50 years ago as an annual thing with just the brothers.
And it's never not
as far as I know, they haven't.
Now, some people didn't get to go and some people did, but it's always happened.
Yeah, and some of those years they had a video camera with them.
A lot of those years.
And so one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a little highlight thing to present to the guys at the Brothers Campout.
Okay, good. Okay.
And then with that, I'm going to try and create a little mini documentary that I'll do some interviews with folks. In fact, I'll be interviewing you because you've been to some of these campouts. And
we don't talk about the campouts.
Well, the rules might change after year number 50.
I heard they might.
Yeah. So, but I wanna kind of capture this because I think this is an important tradition that my dad and his brothers have held for a long time, and I've been fortunate. You've been fortunate enough to be able to participate in it. And so that's one of the big things for this next year that I want to accomplish.
And I would encourage so many people to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to go camping. You know, like we don't always just go camping, but to be able to have something that you could look forward to and something that you could look back on, like I just did, as something positive, that's one of the things that was positive last year. I had a great time. In fact, it's one of those times when you leave, you're like, why can't we have this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Why does this have to be once a year? Why does this ever have to stop?
Yeah.
Because it feels so good and natural and welcoming. I know there's a lot of people that, have loved ones, but go take that loved one stuff and go do it places.
Yeah.
It gives a different little experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's quite amazing because 20 years is a long time for something. We're talking 50 years.
50, yeah. These guys are not the men they once were,
or they thought they were in the first place.
In some cases, more than they were.
half of them will just sit there and fall asleep.
It's so funny.
At like 3 PM in the middle of a conversation.
It's seriously one of the things that I look forward to the most each year, and I just love hanging out with all the people who participate in it. So I'm going to commit to doing this project, and hopefully I'll be able to share it, and other people will enjoy it too.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah. Anything else, Dave? You want to wrap it up?
Well, you know what? I say we wrap it up on that.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Happy New Year.
Yep. Happy New Year's to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year to all of you watching and listening. I think things are going to be good. I'm optimistic.
Well,
So,
yeah, I know things are going to be good. I definitely do believe that.
all right.
I
Well,
have to.
thanks for watching and listening to this show. If you want more information, find it on our website
NeverTooSerious.com.
and interact with us on social media at the NTS Podcast on Twitter, Gettr, and Parler. And until we see you next time, take care.
And be safe.